Hey, how's it going, you guys? This is SpideyCo64 back here again, and in today's video, we are here to recap The Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 1, or technically, Chapter 9, The Marshal. So, before I begin the video, warning, if you have not yet seen The Mandalorian, or if you have not even seen this episode at all, spoilers ahead. Some pretty big major spoilers are going to happen in this video. So what's going to happen here is that I'm going to recap you basically the episode, and we'll talk about a few things here or there. Before I do begin, I just want to address to you guys that I really love Season 1 of The Mandalorian. As a matter of fact, I have considered that this has got to be the best Star Wars product that Disney has put out. You know, I mean, we've had cartoons, the Rebels, the sequel trilogy, we've had that Star Wars Resistance show. None of them were all that none of them really interest me. I mean, the Rebels was a little bit interesting though, but The Mandalorian has got to be the best thing Disney Star Wars has ever put out. And besides, Jon freaking Favreau, the man behind Iron Man, the guy who started the MCU, and Dave Filoni, basically the Padawan of George Lucas, you know, created the Clone Wars, you know, and I mean, just, dude, what a great pairing these two have done. And now, let's talk about Season 2, Chapter 9, The Marshal. So, we basically get a little recap of the series and what have you, if you kind of forgot, which, I mean, this series has literally taken... I mean, the Season 2 barely came out, like, almost in a year. So, basically, so the recap, basically, is that now, Djarin, the Mandalorian, is now trying to return the tiny baby Yoda, or the child in the universe, back to his kind, you know? So, he basically, so the episode starts off, Djarin and baby Yoda go off to get some information from this one-eyed green alien. I'm pretty sure he has a name, but I'm not going to name. But, I mean, I don't really know it as of now. Tells him some information, tries to get information out of him. But hey, this is Star Wars. If you're going to get information from anyone, it has to end in a fight. Or you're going to have to fight for it, really. So, there's a little shootout, you know, a little fight scene between... the Mandalorian and between some of his goons. The alien tells him about another Mandalorian, which he's trying to find, and he says that the last time there was one was on Tatooine. Tatooine, huh? So basically, he kind of hangs him on a lamppost, and a bunch of these weird ass looking wolf monsters probably ate him and all that. So basically, Mando and the child go off to Tatooine and go to a town, little town probably out of Mos Eisley, you know, far out of Mos Eisley. And I don't know why when I saw the town, or when they showed the town, I honestly thought it was the Baru hut, you know, from you know, Luke's home from the original trilogy, but it wasn't. It was like a completely new town. Honestly, I mean, I feel like I feel like they would have put that in there, but they didn't, you know? I mean, you had the cantina from Season 1, but basically, Mando goes into a bar, and then we are introduced to a new character to the show, and that is the Marshal, and he is dressed in Boba Fett's armor. Yeah, when I saw this, I'm like... Yeah, literally my face was just on the floor. I can immediately tell he wasn't, you know, Boba, you know, I mean, and all that, but imagine if it was, you know, and then he just takes off the helmet, he's just this new guy, you know, and all that, you know, so of course Mando's like, hey, take off that shit, you know, you don't deserve to wear my people's clothes, you know, and all that, you know, because, man, sometimes, feel like they really are just kind of the offense, really are easily offended by anything. I don't know why, I kind of just feel like that, but anyways, but while that's happening, this dragon who's underneath the sand, rolls underneath the town, you know, and all that, and basically, Mando is offered to help kill the beast for the armor, and all that. So they basically agree, and the Marshal starts to explain how he acquired the armor, after the Death Star's second, basically it was 5 years ago, where after the second Death Star literally got, when it got destroyed, some soldiers came in, basically kind of shot up the bar that they were in. He ran out with some crystals. He was basically out in the desert until he was saved by Jawas. He gave them the crystals, and basically they gave him in return Boba Fett's armor. So the Jawas had Boba Fett's armor, and he basically came back, scared them out of the town, and now he's the Marshal, So it's pretty cool. He's kind of, pretty cool. And I gotta say that, when the Mandalorian, or when the Djarin, he's walking, you kind of hear that clang, clang, almost like a cowboy, I really kind of love that detail, really, really love that detail. So they go off trying to find, where this dragon is, and they basically encounter some Tusken Raiders, and basically at that point they're like, oh crap, we gotta align ourselves with some Tusken Raiders. So basically they can't do this by themselves. They have to get the town to help them defeat the dragon, basically. But of course the town is not happy because the freaking Tusken Raiders. I mean, literally, no one would trust a Tusken Raider, my dude. No one would trust a Tusken Raider, especially if, especially if you were to capture a woman who happens to be the mother of like a Jedi, right? And then he gets pissed off of you for killing them, and he kills the men and the women and the children. I hate them. Sorry, I had to include a prequel reference. But basically, the town and the Tusken Raiders have to basically have a short alliance with one another to take down basically the dragon, and pretty much the latter half of the episode is them trying to take down the dragon, trying to get it out of its cage, and they're trying to, get it to eat one of the buffalo creatures. I forget. I know they have a name, and I know they have a name. It's just I can't remember at the time. If anyone knows the name of those animals, please let me know. But basically, they're trying to get them to eat them. There's actually kind of like a little funny scene where one of the Tusken Raiders is out in front of the tunnel, right? He does the Tusken cry, And I thought he was gonna eat the buffalo-looking thing, and then he eats the then the dragon eats the Tusken Raider. I'm like, I did not expect that. I did not expect that. So I mean, it's a pretty cool action scene at the end. You got the Mandalorian and the Marshal in their jetpacks, trying to shoot out, the beast, and all that. And basically, Mando and the Marshal got its attention, and now they're trying to get it to eat one of the buffalo creatures. And the reason why that is because the buffalo creature is carrying explosives. So what happens here is, of course, Mando jams the Marshal's jetpack, to save him, and all that, because he may not make it alive. But hey, come on, this is the first episode. We know he's going to survive. And how did he did it? Well, he was eaten by it. Well, he was in the stomach, but the rifle he had a taser, right. And basically, it electrocuted him, and basically, the beast was destroyed inside, because it was said that in order to destroy the beast, or to kill it, is to get it in the stomach. So they defeat the creature. The Marshal gives Mando Boba Fett's armor, and basically the Tusken Raiders are taking the meat out of the dragon, which I'm like, yeah, I mean, and the funny thing is that they gave Mando and Baby Yoda a big chunk of meat, and I'm like, you know what? It actually looks kind of pretty good. I think about it. So Mando heads off on his speeder bike, but the episode ends with a mysterious figure looking on a mountain rock, and he turns to the camera, and dude, this was probably the most jaw moment of the episode, like the WTF moment. Freaking Boba Fett is in The Mandalorian. Boba Fett is alive and well, and the episode ends like that. And I had to check myself to make sure it was the actor, because the actor who plays him also played Jango and the clones in the prequel trilogy, you know, and all that, and gave the voice of Boba Fett in one of the special editions of the original trilogy. But yeah, so basically, my overall thoughts on this episode here is that I thought it was a good start to the season, you know. That was a pretty, you know, great start. This is a pretty interesting adventure that Baby Yoda and Djarin are going on. And I feel like that if this episode didn't really had, you know, if it didn't have Boba Fett's armor, and if it didn't have Boba Fett at the end, I feel like not much people will talk about it. They'll just be like, yeah, it's alright, you know. Alright, you know, episode, you know. I mean, it's good, you know. It's pretty good. It's like, this is the jaw drop moment when this little guy appeared last season. So, yeah, so what is my overall and final rating on Chapter 9, The Marshal? I would have to rate this episode a 7 out of 10. Pretty good episode, but we're barely starting out, okay? We're not there at the scenes that they showed in the trailer, you know, where they're trying to escape from Imperials, you know, and all that. So, yeah. Anyways, if you've watched this episode, let me know what you thought of it in the comments below. And I will see you in the next video. And remember, this is the way.